First of all, I would like to thank ICC and, of course, my ex-super boss, Mr. Nanavati, for having us distributors come on this dais and present our case. Normally, distributors are seen to be distant, far off poor cousins of producers and manufacturers. So, thank you once again, sir, for giving us a platform. Today's topic is embedding enterprise in Indian chemicals, role of distributors in shaping the path forward. Embedding enterprise in India, I think that's a joke. We have Godrej sir here, we have Tatas, we have Deepak Nitrite, we have SR. You name it, we have Excel, we have Atul. Everybody homegrown enterprises. But yes, I agree, because this is an era of disruption. I was attending the Global Business Summit last month, where, of course, Honorable Modi sir also was there. And PwC gave an insight there, said 62% of the CEOs see this as an era of disruption, and they have to have made drastic changes in the way they operate. So distributors and producers coming in, I think, sir, it's given. And I definitely feel that we both can help each other grow. $1 trillion economy has been the buzzword since yesterday. And in fact, Deepak Bhai Mehta, when he spoke yesterday, he says, let's try to do that in 2035. Fantastic. He also spoke of Atmanirbharta. And he said that it's just not the local producers we are going to have, we have to export as well, right? Mr. Baroka, Honorable Secretary of Chemicals and Petroleum, emphasized that they're aiming for 20% exports in that $1 trillion economy. So we have to grow locally, and we have to as well grow and exports. The major topics which came up yesterday was, for example, let's talk disruption, safety. Mr. Eric from Signeta emphasized that safety, citing the example of Bhopal gas tragedy. Mr. Primal of Evonik, I think he is here, mentioned that producers can take care of products till the gate of the factory. What happens after that? Right? We have to imagine what happens after that. Sustainability and circularity, I think we have been talking of it, enough of it, but still, Mr. Nikhil Meswani of Reliance, Mr. Avinash Goyal of McKinsey, and many others emphasized that we have to be on the offensive, not defensive. I will again quote GBS, Global Business, last time when I was there. They said that sustainability should have a good payback, should not be cost. It has to have a good payback. That's what we have to do. I would quote Mr. Modi here. He spoke of a very interesting episode. He says, reimagine things. Let's start reimagining. Now, we said that he reimagined that air routes in India could change. Earlier, air routes would go above the air force bases, and there were a lot of ways that they had to take different routes. He changed all that, saving a lot of carbon emission. That's why we have to reimagine things and do things. Process and people. Mr. Shekhar of Galaxy Surfactants mentioned investments in people and processes beside others. Inventory holding. Mr. Chandrakant Nayak, sir, if you permit me to quote you of Dow, mentioned that today's world is not just in time, but also just in case. So we all have to be prepared. And how do we get prepared? Through AI, through digital transformations, to drones, to automation, etc., to reduce costs, but ultimately get that efficiency right. Value-added services. I was speaking to Mr. Ravi Goenka of Lakshmi yesterday, and he says, let's work together to go in for repackaging, drum filling, etc., etc. Hence, sir, producers and distributors have to come together. There's no other way about it. Today in India, we have world-class MNC distributors. Brenntag, we being one of the examples. We are the leading global distributor of the world, specialty and chemicals, a $16 billion company with 80 plus countries. Just for information, in January 2023, we achieved the EcoVadis Platinum, which is the highest honor in sustainability, giving us 1% of the top space worldwide in any kind of industry. You'll also be very proud that Brenntag India is leading the sustainability effort in warehouses in the entire Brenntag world. Very proud of that. Of course, QSHI, EHS, they're all given. That's just given. The digitalization process, the DIDEX as we call them, is very much into our blood in Brenntag. We're taking it very seriously. By the way, we also have an export arm called GSO. It's a cost center, not a profit center. So any of you here interested in exporting products worldwide to any of our Brenntag entities, please approach us. Okay, now let me introduce our eminent panelists to you. Let me start with Mr. Robert Stout. Mr. Robert Stout is the Secretary General of ICTA, International Chemical Trade Association. Like we have the ICCA, which is the International Chemical Council Association, which is the Producers Guild. Similarly, we have now the ICTA, which is the Distributors Wing. And ICTA has an MOU with ICC here. Mr. Stout is a Dutch citizen, a lawyer. Okay, I think that's great to say and enough to say. And we in India think that we are great linguists and we can speak many languages. He speaks 6 languages, German and English being very fluent. Congratulations, Mr. Stout, and thank you for bringing the attention of India to ICTA. Welcome. Next is Mr. Taketo Kimura. He is a Japanese and General Manager of Mitsui & Company, India Private Limited. He joined Mitsui in 1999 and has been working in various BUs like iron and steel, marketing and logistics, phenol acetone, corporate planning. He also had 5 years of experience in Houston, USA. He is in India since, I think, August last year. He has 2 kids going to the American school here. By the way, just to give you an example, Mitsui & Company is one of the largest trading and investment companies in the world today, and his business is focused on growing through trading, business management, and project development. Mitsui creates a new value by combining its diverse functions and the global network. Hope I got it right, sir. I think Mr. Ponuswamy doesn't need any introduction. He is a stalwart of chemical distribution industry in India. He is the founder and chairman of Ponpure Chemicals, which is ranked 48th in the ICIS chemical distributors in the world. I think we should be very proud of that. There are branches in Australia, Dubai, Sri Lanka, Singapore, and Bangladesh. The group has 23 warehouses, 29 branches, and 2 specialty manufacturing units. With 1,400 employees, the group has a turnover of over 4,200 crores. We are very proud of you, sir, Mr. Ponuswamy.
Thank you.
So, could you please introduce ICTA again briefly, and also what message would you like to convey to the Indian national distributors?
Yes, thank you very much for this opportunity. It's for me the first time now joining here in ICC. Unfortunately, we had COVID, so I couldn't come for 2 years, but I'm back again. The ICTA is the International Chemical Trade Association, but you also could call it the International Association of Chemical Distributors. We are the world association consisting on the one hand of national associations like the NACD from the United States or the FECC in Europe. And on the other hand, we have a lot of direct members, like Brenntag is one of the key players, of course, but also Univar, Azelis. And the CEOs of those 3 bigger companies consist also of, are a part of the board. What we try to do is to set the standards for international chemical distribution, because we see on a world scale that it differs quite substantially. We consist of, we have working committees. I won't bother you with that, but it's on safety, it's on health, it's on security. We work together with the OPCW, for instance, for security. But we are developing at the moment a system which is based on responsible care, but which is focused on responsible distribution. It will be called Global Responsible Distribution, and it consists of elements from responsible care, which is focused on more the production sector, and it will include elements of sustainability and of circularity focused on the distribution sector. And the message I would have here, and I'm very proud that we have a memorandum of understanding with ICC on the basis of which we cooperate. 3 years ago, we run a very successful workshop here in Mumbai focused on local distributors. And what we try to do is bring best practices and bring the standards which have been developed all over the world Also into India, because India for us is an extremely important place. 1.3 billion people this year and a lot of opportunities for distributors. But we have to be honest, it is not very well organized as a sector yet. And if ICTA can play a tiny bit role in helping them to develop that, then our mission is completed. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Stout. You spoke of responsible care for distributors specifically.
Yes.
How is it going to be different than the producers?
Well, what I tried to tell you is if you look to the program of responsible care now, and we run that also, a lot of those elements are focused on producing chemicals. So it's on the process side, on safety and health. What we call safety, health, environment. We missed some elements in what distributors are doing, for instance, in safe warehousing. That is an element which, and logistics like transport, which is not yet fully incorporated in the existing responsible care programs. And besides of that, a lot of our members ask, we know that sustainability is important, and we think that sustainability is even more important because we service the part of the value chain after the product leaves the gate from the producer. And we know, we know that also regulators, for instance, where I come from in Europe, are increasingly focusing on what is it in that part of the value chain which they want to regulate. How do you bring your chlorine, for instance, to a consumer who buys it in a drugstore, and all the steps after it left the gate from the producer are not yet regulated yet. And that's a major threat for us, but also an opportunity. And that's why we try to develop a global responsible distribution as a sort of system that you can go to regulators and everybody is concerned about chemicals and say, this is how we bring it safe from the factory into your house.
Thank you, Mr. Stout. I'll come back to you. Mr. Kumara, India's chemical industry is around 170 to 180 billion, as we heard yesterday, and continues to grow by around 9 to 10%. How have distributor operating models evolved to meet this rising scale? I mean, you are here, right, from Japan to India, so I think you must be able to answer that.
First of all, Mitsui is not a local distributor, so I think we probably may have a different approach. The products we bring into India are basically net short, so that means the Indian capacity is not enough to serve the demand. And we actually started bringing in products from overseas, selling on CFR terms. Our customers were like large customers or even local distributors. But as time went by, some of our customers asked us whether we can have a storage tank in India so that we can deliver them on time. And also, I think they wanted us to have a safety stock for a just-in-case situation. But after a while, there were so many challenges, but we were lucky that at the time we started this operation, Mitsui was handling about 20% of the total import volume. So we already had a customer base. And this is really important to do this kind of operation. And by having that, I think we had a smooth entry. But there were also times when we faced some challenges, but fortunately, I think we were able to overcome the difficult times together with our customers. And the good thing about starting this local distribution was it allowed us to meet customers who weren't able to buy on CFR terms, so-called maybe small or mid-sized customers. But we were fortunate to meet some of the customers who had a very strong vision to grow. And actually, I think they outperformed the market and gave us the opportunity to grow together. So as Mitsui, we still want to continue to be good at what we're doing, but also we want to, kind of explore something new to start to capture the new opportunities. And one thing we recently started is to bring in a Japanese skincare product called Biore. And this is manufactured by a Japanese company called Kao, and they are our chemical customer in Japan. So when we started bringing in this product, we didn't make any advertisement. So I think most of the people in India didn't even know what it was about. But by starting online, we were able to, we were using like the influencers. And in these cases, it's not a chemical product, but mouth of word marketing meant a lot to us. And we were able to get customer feedback. And that gave us a hint to what they wanted, what we should improve, and what kind of product they wanted in the future. So I think chemical products and skincare or consumer goods are totally different. But what we learned from this business is that customers will surely need to be satisfied if they want to buy from us. And maybe in the future, at this moment, we're not doing any online sales, but if we want to reach to those small-sized customers and capture the growth in India, I think we also have to challenge those things. And to do that, there are things that we learned a lot from them. And if the customers are satisfied, they will recommend us to others. If they're not, they have many other options to choose from. So I think we want to continue this traditional so-called local distribution business, but on top of that, we want to start something new. And to do that, we want to also learn from the customer side and to be ready to go online. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kimera. I fully agree that, see, personal care is a big booming industry in India, cosmetics, so I think it's the right line. A very personal question to you, a little political if you don't mind, okay? You know, we talk of ease of doing business in India. Things have changed, things are improving, licenses have gone down, license Raj is not there. What's your experience over the last 7-8 months in India? I hope nobody's recording it here, so I mean.
Of course, you know, before I came to India, I thought, when I was in Japan, I thought India was a country that was country that is ready to grow. But after coming here, it was totally different. It was already happening. And, you know, I think we were the only ones in Japan who didn't know that it's already moving on. But so I think it's very fast and it's different from what we thought. But at the same time, there are still things that are slow. I think that needs to be improved, maybe regulation or those challenges. Maybe we're not still familiar with that, but those are the things.
I think it says different than what we thought. I think that says it all. Anyway, thank you, and welcome again, and hope you have great business opportunities in India.
Thank you.
Coming to you, Mr. Ponuswamy. I just talked of, you know, that distributors and manufacturers are important. Do you really think that distributors are important for manufacturers? And also, how have domestic chemical distributors evolved over a period of time in India?
Thank you, Mr. Alok. I think, first of all, I like to thank ICC for bringing to the stage distributors. I think this is the first time distributors given a chance to speak. Indian chemical distribution industry is worth 2 lakh crore. It's about 25 billion US dollar. I think I think the reason for this growth, this figure is mainly because of all of you. You consume lot of chemical, you produce lot of chemicals to distribute. I think one thing is, a very important thing is I like to say, CPC, when I started the business, those days, the chemicals were fully in seller's market. The consumer is not respected because there was always few manufacturers, less import of chemical, and also this way the industry has not grown. Because of that, you know, that there is mostly manufacturers are based in Western India. So all over India, they have the consumers, if you get textile, if you say automobiles, detergent industry, all these people, they have to get material from there. So when at that time, the customer expectation and the dealers know their expectations are different. So it's like a monopoly. If I am an agent of a big company, I can dictate consumers, because most of the time they don't sell on good specification, they don't tell even if they don't know. If there is a complaint, there will be reluctance to attend. All these things were there. I think over a period after 90s, liberalization took place, a lot of investment came, a lot of competition came. I think this is good for the country. I think it has changed over a period of time. And generally, a distributor has a lot of role to play. He is the front end of the car. No, your manufacturer. So when he goes and sell, he has to talk. First of all, I like to say, attracting talent for this chemical distributor is very, very difficult those days. We have to employ any graduate, a BA history fellow, BCom or geography. We don't get chemistry people, they don't come and join our chemical distribution company. Our chemical engineers do not come. I think over a period of time it is matured. Today you can take, like Ms. Alok, he has worked in various countries, multinational. Today is heading the Indian operation of Brenntag. They are the largest. They themselves make 16 billion, no? 16 billion. So India trade is very less, I think, compared to global trade. But what I feel, I think, this has over a period of time changed. The customer expectation meeting, I think distributors have a major role. And also, see, what is the customer requirement? Most of the time, when a distributor go and attend a customer call, what are the pain points? I am not able to get in time. This quality I want more purity, I want less water content, all this, a lot of specifications they give. So we go back to our manufacturer. Can we improve the quality of the product? Like that, I think we are working in tandem. What the distributor today is, not only customer focus, we are focused on logistics, supply chain, and also we are focusing on principles. Principles, what is that? See, we have seen a MSME customer who has come and taken material, 50 kilo of material. Today he has gone to the next and he buys 5,000 ton a month. See, like that we have seen, in our lifetime, we have seen companies started in a small way. They're big corporates, they have come. I think there is a possibility. So all these things, you also asked about what is the role of the distributor for the benefits. I think it's a close partnership. I think we have to get a lot of information. First of all, if we are dealing a product of manufacturer, some of our suppliers are here, some of our principals are here. See, we should know, our team should know what are the good points of that product which we are going to market, the specification. If the customer will use this product, can he get better yield? Can his reaction time will be less? I think it's a go on improvement. And also we go and speak to the customer. What do you want? Your product any upgradation. Sometimes the principles are so good. If we ask something, they will use their R&D and give some feedback. This process he can change. See, and also morning they were talking about customer. Mostly, we go and speak to the customer's customer. If we are supplying a textile processing company, they are buyers, overseas buyers. They are sourcing, they come to us. Can this finish can be made like this? So it is a very, very close partnership. And also, a customer wants 5 liter material, a customer wants 200 liter, a customer wants 1 kilo for trial purpose, only distributor can do, the manufacturer will not be able to do. And also, if we see the logistic cost, if I can bring 25 ton material, the logistic cost will be less. And also, we have been working whether we can, we have opened so many branches mainly because of we want to be near the customer. If somebody wants to take a 25 kilo, let them come and take, or we can deliver it. So that is the thing. Whether we are making good profit, I do not know, but the way we handle the customer is very important. Our supplier is very, and also we respect all our vendors, like a transporter. We work with them, transporter. whether he can reduce the finance cost, whether he can reduce his fuel efficiency. So we take a lot of inputs from him and talk to them so that he will be fit. We also working with them long term. Even if a small supplier, a drum, used drum, we give a lot of respect to them. We work with them how he can increase his product and how he can be competitive. We are working like that. So the dealer is very important. Such a vast country like India, if you want nook and corner of the place, I think a distributor is required.
Thank you, Mr. Manaswamy. I think you made a very, very strong point. And I believe all producers must be convinced now that we require distributors like Ponpure here. Thank you. Just a small question again. You said you have evolved over the last 30, 40 years, right? You have actually adapted new technologies as well into system. What, like, we used to say in northern side, we used to have the Partha system, the accounting system. Tamil Nadu must be different. So old accounting to new accounting, to automation, to IT, to sustainability. Have you moved ahead there as well?
I think, see, over a period of time, I think I can share here because completely this chemical trade has come out of grey market. One thing that appreciable thing is, one is the statutory authorities completely following them. And after GST coming, almost I will say it has become nil. And also, I think the way, see, in our company, we started computerization only after 17 years. We have been writing. And we first, our people are very reluctant to move to computer. 97 we moved. Then 2004 we implemented Oracle ERP. So that time my next generation people also joined business. So that also, I was not very keen that, but they said I think that should be a fully security oriented software system. We have moved on. This also has helped.
Thank you, Mr. Manaswamy. Mr. Stout, coming back to you, a related question to what we were discussing. You have a worldwide exposure of distributors through ICTA, right? So do you think homegrown distributors here need to change and adapt to changing environment in the world, maybe related to safety, circularity, or even what Mr. Manaswamy was saying?
Well, I'm not here in a position to tell the Indians what they should do, but what we can bring from the experience of all the members worldwide, whether it's from the US, for Europe, or for South America, what our aim would be is to bring the best practices of this and to learn and help the local distributors to work in that way. And I see a lot of opportunities in, for instance, safe warehousing. At the moment, as we see it, and we experience that with our cooperation with ICC, there are some challenges if you look at the warehousing practices now in India. And there's a difference between the global players like you or Azelis and the local ones. I think it's the duty of an association like mine to bring those practices and to help those distributors, if they can learn from it, how they can let's say, bring their safety up to standard on an international level. And at the same time, it also brings them in a position that also foreign suppliers would be more willing to use distributors in order to supply the growing Indian market. So it is a win-win situation. And lastly, it's also what is sustainability throughout the supply chain. Everybody talks about sustainability, but the distributor needs to know what it brings them, and we need to help him to use the concept of sustainability, because that is the key to success to the future. Because also regulators, also in India, I'm convinced that they will ask in the coming years that sustainability is a concrete thing which has to be shown also to the public, that everything we are doing in using chemicals or materials that might be unsafe, that we do our utmost to bring it to those houses, and that will be also their business case and their value proposition.
You hit upon a very important point, safety. See, somehow, as Mr. Ponusamy said, I was also abroad for around 15 years, came back. I found that this safety concept among Indian workers, or he was talking about warehouses, somehow was not there, is not there. I think you have to bring it from inside. That when I spoke to everybody here, I said that, see, we are talking of QC here, EHS here, we're talking of simple, PPs here. People are not wearing it. They were just avoiding it. The moment the camera is not there or the supervisor is not there, just avoid it. We should tell them it's for your safety. I mean, people don't wear helmets on the streets here, right? On the motorcycles. That concept has to come in from inside. So we have to ensure that this has to come in. But I agree, the best practices have to come in, and we need to adopt.
Thank you.
A question to you, Mr. Timura. We saw a lot of talk on China plus one, right? Now, and we also spoke, somebody presented Northeast learnings for us, right, from Japan and from Korea. What's your experience in India, and how do you see this China plus one sentiment as far as India is concerned? Can we succeed?
Well, I think many people already talked about this, and I'm not sure if there's anything I can add from my side. But I also strongly believe that India can become a big beneficiary of this China plus one sentiment. But having said so, as we learned yesterday, India will also have to compete with other countries such as Taiwan, Thailand, Vietnam, maybe Malaysia, and so on, to gain from this sentiment. But I think people are already looking beyond China, for sure. So it's not easy to find an alternative, but it's also going to take time, so we need to move pretty fast. And in my business for Mitsui, we've been approached by a Japanese customer who's been buying the key raw material from China, and he asked me to find a supplier who can make the same quality at the same price. And another company in Japan asked me to actually send me a full list of product and told me to start sending samples immediately, because they also have to get the sample approved from their end customer. And if the customer is in the auto industry, it seems that it's going to take maybe a year to get approved. So they wanted to be well prepared in advance. So what we did was, we were actually fortunate to have customers whom we met through local distribution who had a very advanced technology, but they didn't seem to know how to sell and where to sell. But this China Plus One gave us and them the opportunity, and we were very happy when we saw them make the sample of the product that we were looking for. So I think it's more happening in the specialty chemicals rather than the commodities or the petrochemicals. And if we start this, maybe we're going to start as a Plan B supplier. But once things happen, I think the ones who have the alternative, a backup cargo, would be in a much stronger position, and we have the chance to become or gain market share if we can prove ourselves. So as Mitsui, we would like to keep working with these companies and also maybe make the most out of the China Plus One movement.
Thank you, and really we hope that we can succeed in this. In fact, this reminds me on the commodity and specialties, Mr. Godrej's comment today morning, when he said commodities can become specialties as well, right? So let's hope and work towards that. Mr. Punaswamy, anything you would like to add about your future plans, about your growth plans, if you don't mind?
The future plan will be, mostly we will be working with our R&D on application technology to our customers to enhance our supplier at this thing. So actually, if you take, I came to Chennai searching for a job 1974 after finishing my BSc. I come from a remote village. I don't have any background, started with the 150 rupees salary. And 5 years I worked, then I got married, then I started a business. When I started my business, I had 5,000 rupees loan advance in the company. So I borrowed from our village 1,000 rupees, 500 rupees, like that. I borrowed around 35,000 and started this business. Initially, first remark I told her, the distributors were a monopoly. So at that time, customer used to feel, the lot of, when we getting supply, I used to go and tell them, you ask, the same day we'll give material. Those days, cell phone was not there. So like that, we managed and started. We used to give, somebody wants 1 kilo, we rate pack and give it. That is how it started. Now I think we have set a standard for us. All our warehouses, we have a quality team. All our warehouses, we have safety people. We have about 25 safety engineers, qualified safety engineers, take care of. All these things we do it, we go on doing it. So the customer wants this specification, we'll be able to give that material. So.
Okay, thank you, sir. And I've been reminded again, so we round up the session now. Just making 2 points that ICTA, please help us get the best practices, we can grow. And I believe we as distributors have made very strong point to all the producers, manufacturers here that yes, you do require us. And secondly, we are prepared to take on the world with a sustainability, circularity, decarbonization, etc. You ask for it and we are there. Thank you very much for this session. Thank you.